What is up, NASCAR racing fans? You're watching the NASCAR Nitro Series on the HSL Diecast Racing channel. And if we got a treat for y'all today, the heavy cars are seeing the old school start gate for the first time ever here at Martinsville. And if you've seen the qualifying video, which is blown up in the last couple days, then you got a nice sneak preview for what's about to happen. And kicking off our first segment, we got our pole sitter, Clyde. Next to him is Lord Raymond. We have last week's winner, Burt Buzzard and Bobby Allison. Got a couple of the high finishing stocks filling the field out, and caution is out for a El Reco. Very first lap, the pseudo teammates of Lord Raymond and Tristan Racewelski, who actually are teammates in Lord Shanks Series, both take themselves out in the outside lane. Bobby Allison exits stage left too, but manages to stay on his wheels. And we have Lord Raymond and Tristan Racewelski being the very first cars to get towed/pushed into the HSL junkyard. How fitting. The home team gets to break in their junkyard. And now it's time for lap number 2. Clyde held onto the lead there. Burt Buzzard moved up to second place. And cautions out for an El Reco again. An unforced error by Bobby Allison gets him sent to the junkyard. And that is a shame because he was knocking on the door of second place before that. And now it's time for lap number 3. The other positions haven't changed at all. Skeeter Davis, your stock race winner, challenging for second place before kind of getting stuck in the split curve. That wasn't a problem for him in the stocks race. And Burt Buzzard just stayed glued to Clyde's bumper. He is knocking on the door of the lead here, trying to get into his second straight main event. Will he be successful heading into the final lap? And the gates are down, and he gets a little bit of pushback from the track. That allows the stock of Skeeter Davis to go by him, and Skeeter Davis will take second place away. Clyde to the main event, and Skeeter Davis, the field filler, into the seconds race. And now it's time for segment number 2. And on the front row, you have Po Boy, the team boss of Po Boy Racing, next to Riot Isaac. Then in the middle row, both the Demon Preacher's cars, and behind them, it looks like they'll be delivering McDonald's. Vinny Nightlife, though, slips on some of his cheeseburger grease and goes flying off the track, and it looks like Chase Elliott gets an El Reco too. Both of them field fillers, door dashing their Big Macs to the other drivers that crashed out. What a disaster of a lap for the stocks. And Po Boy had a big lead over the rest of the field. Charlie Verney came ahead of that carnage in second place, and it looks like the positions are going to stay the same for lap number 2. Po Boy and Charlie Verney in the front row. And now the gates are down for lap number 3. We got quite a battle between Riot Isaac and Charlie Verney. It looks like Charlie's going to get the upper hand heading to the finish line. Reverse side drafts Riot Isaac to maintain second place. And now it is time for the final lap. No positions changed on that last lap, and it doesn't look like they're going to change this time either. And the caution's out for an El Reco. Bill Z. Bub tips over in between turns 2 and 3. Gets towed over to the HSL junkyard. Instead of at least picking up a couple spots in the thirds and fourths race, that is a DNF. And now it's time for segment number 3. We got Misty G for Puffs Racing and our Daytona 500 winner Heather in the front row. Behind them is Lucky Jackson and sporting a brand new car, Baby Richie. Finally, the field filler of Johnson Jr. and your points leader Gale Force had to race her way in the last chance qualifier. And the start gate's latest victim is Heather. 3 races now in a row. The monkey paw curls again after that Daytona 500 victory. Lap 1 DNF, horrible points day. And it looks like Baby Richie was involved there too, but he lands on his wheels. He'll be able to continue. And as you see Heather's car getting towed to the junkyard, certainly not the result she was hoping for after starting on the front row. And now it's time for lap number 2. Baby Richie moves to the very back. And did you see what Gale Force just did? That was absolutely insane. Plowing underneath Lucky Jackson to move up from 4th to 2nd, and Lucky Jackson recovering and staying on his wheels. He didn't even leave the track. And we're going to play this for you in slow motion. Gale Force just completely cuts underneath Lucky Jackson and then tries to challenge Misty G for first place, but Misty G is too fast in the inside lane to let Gale Force pass by, and then you see the other guys just hanging out there. So now it's time for lap number 3, and the whole field gets bunched up at the start gate. Cautions out, major El Reco. Baby Richie comes through it in first place. Lucky Jackson, the only other driver to make it through there unscathed, and it looks like both our points leader, Gale Force, as well as Johnson Jr. are out of this. We're going to replay this for you in slow motion. As you see, both drivers in the front get caught up at the start gate before it fully drops. And it is total chaos. You see Johnson Jr. is the first one to flip onto his roof. Body slams Gale Force's car like he's the Undertaker, and you can see Misty G rolling back onto her wheels at the last second as the junkyard gets more and more crowded. Misty G will be starting the final lap in third place behind her teammate Baby Richie, and Baby Richie gets loose. But look at that recovery. What a masterful piece of driving to recover from that and hold on to the lead. Baby Richie to his first career main event. And now it's time for segment number 4. On the front row, you have Gaza next to J-Bo getting a push from his teammate Mike Honcho. Puff in one of his stocks. Lee Petty borrowing Baby Richie's stock there because Baby Richie's already in the race. Gavin McSplash got in on the last chance. And Lee Petty borrowing someone else's car has an unforced error on the split portion of the track before he even gets into the turn. J-Bo leads the lap after Gaza inexplicably pulls the car off to the side. Mike Honcho's push might have vaulted J-Bo to the lead, but he still took a last-second tumble there. And he hasn't been able to catch a break all season. We'll have to watch his teammate lead the field down for lap number 2. With Lee Petty and all the other drivers that crashed. And now it's time for lap number 2. J-Bo, look at him flying down the track. Looks like he doesn't have any competition here. He leads that lap by a whole track segment at the halfway point of the race. And cautions out for another El Reco. Gaza, horrible points day for him, unfortunately. Back-to-back second place finishes. He will not get his first win today. Now we're coming back for lap number 3. J-Bo leads the field down, and he's got a good car length lead over Gavin McSpadge, and he is flown off the track. Caution is out. Let's see where his car landed, and he is upside down and out of the race. A heartbreaker for J-Bo. He had this one in the bag. Took a bad angle on the straightaway, and now Gavin McSpadge will lead the field down for the final lap. The gates are down. Gavin McSpadge flies out of the gate, but he bends it coming out of the split turn. Puff survives the war of attrition. This segment had only one finisher. Gavin McSpadge, this close to getting to his first career main event, will now have to watch the rest of the race from the junkyard. Just a heartbreaking segment for several drivers, but now we're moving on to segment number 5. We got Harry Hoon in the front row next to William. Behind them is both of Mark Russell's cars, Elton Sawyer and Sparky Racer. Bubba Wallace, the highest finishing field filler in the stocks, and Christie, who got in the last chance qualifier, alongside Gale Force and Chef Squid, I believe. And the gates are down, and Harry Hoon and William are side by side. Harry Hoon jumps off the side of the track. William takes the lead, and Harry Hoon inexplicably goes flying from the inside lane, and both of the drivers on the back row have crashed. An unfortunate early exit for both Christie and Bubba Wallace, and we're going to see where Harry Hoon landed. He went flying pretty far out there, and yes, he is on his wheels. He'll be starting the next lap in last as the Slambulance helps our official tow truck take the wrecked cars over to the scrapyard. And we're going to go back to the replay cam and watch that in slow motion. It looks like an unforced error for Bubba Wallace while Harry Hoon breaks one of the cardinal rules and tries to throw a block while still on the split track. That doesn't pay off for him. William takes the lead there. He'll be leading the pack down for lap number 2. And the gates are down. Williams shoots out of the start gate. Gets a great push from Sparky Racer. The two Mark Russell teammates are grinding it out. Meanwhile, Harry Hoon goes flying again. And we're going to have the drone fly over, see where he landed. And he lands on his wheels again. He is really tempting fate with this. Got himself mired after some aggressive driving from the pole. Let's see if he can do anything on lap number 2. Plows under Sparky Racer a bit. Moves up to third place at the expense of Elton Sawyer. But it's relatively clean racing for lap number 3. William holds on to the lead by about a car length heading into the final lap. And the gates are down for the final lap. They get a little squirrely on the inside lane, but they quickly settle into place. No position changes, and they form a freight train. They cross the line in single file. William to the main event. Sparky Racer will have his best finish yet this season in the seconds race. And now it's time for the 6th and final segment. On the front row, Gray in the red car next to Lord Shank, his first front row start. Giorgio for G-Force Racing. Check out their channel. They got some pretty good content. Teammates Casey Kane and Chef Squid behind them. And the gates are down and Lord Shank goes flying. Looks like he recovers. Gray will lead the field down to the green. Giorgio moves up to second place. And let's take a look on the sky cam where he landed. He lands on his wheels, narrowly avoids going into the dirt. Gray holds on to the lead heading into lap number 2. Giorgio up to second place. And look at Casey Kane plow underneath Gray. And Giorgio gets tossed off the track by Endcount from Chase Family Racing. They also have a channel. He's doing his own NASCAR tournament that I entered. Be sure to check that out when it drops. And Lord Shank takes over third place from Chef Squid. And it looks like an El Reco for Giorgio, unfortunately. And there was a lot of action here. We're going to take a look at this on the slow motion. Both that Dodge Charger stalker of Casey Kane and Endcount plow under the cars in front of him, while Gray makes an excellent recovery there and actually blocks the rest of the field from passing him for second place. Giorgio is not so lucky. Casey Kane leads it by over half the track length, it seems. All I got to say is what a move by Gray to keep racing on. He'll be starting second for lap number 3. And the gates are down. It's a tight pack heading into the split turn. Casey Kane pulls away again, cautions out. El Recco. This time it's Endcount. And the recovery truck stopped for some gas. They're here to take Giorgio and Endcount to the junkyard. Giorgio, of course, crashed the last lap while they were refueling. And now it's time for the final lap of segment racing. Casey Kane will have this one in the bag as long as he keeps his nose clean. And look at that, an El Recco. Gray gets a little impatient and dumps him at the start gate, leaving Lord Shank to win the final segment. And he had that in the bag. And the gamble didn't even pay off for Gray because Chef Squid took second place from Gray at the finish line. So now it's time to move on to the thirds and fourths race. In the front row, we have Misty G from Puffs Racing next to Harry Hoon. Behind them, Gray and Riot Isaac. And finally, our fourth place finishers, Burt Buzzard and Elton Sawyer. And Harry Hoon is up to his old tricks again, goes flying off the front row. Gamble doesn't work out once more. And if you take a look at this replay, everybody's bunched up at the finish line. After Misty G, there's like a 3-car, 4-car traffic jam coming out of turns 2 and 3, and it looks like Riot Isaac might take over second place, and it looks like he does by a millimeter. Gray in third, Elton Sawyer a millimeter ahead of Burt Buzzard for fourth, and the gates are down. Misty G looks unstoppable in this race. And would you look at that, we have some dissension in the Cut Rock Creek camp. And Harry Hoon goes to his favorite spot on the track, but this time it's not his fault. His own teammate takes him out. That is going to be a long, awkward plane ride back to Australia while they prepare for the road course race. And now it's time for the seconds race. We have Charlie Verney on the pole. Next to him is Lucky Jackson. Sparky Racer and Chef Squid in their first seconds races. And the gates are down, and there is some major action on the track. Sparky Racer and Charlie Verney go flying. Skeeter Davis in the stock actually lead the field down to green as the first 3 cars jockeying for that all-important front row position take each other out. Charlie Verney and somehow all 3 of them survive and land on their wheels. But if you look at this replay, that kind of aggression to get into the main event does not pay off. It'll be tough for any of them to get past 3, 4, 5 cars with just 1 lap remaining. And the gates are down. Chef Squid tries to cut under Skeeter Davis but gets thrown off the track. Meanwhile, Charlie Verney bins it. Skeeter Davis avoids all that carnage. And Skeeter Davis in the stock, your stocks race winner, will be moving on to the mods main event. Your top 10 is set. Sparky Racer gets his very first top 10. Misty G keeps her streak going. And now it is main event time. On the front row, we have Clyde and Po' Boy. Clyde's got a drafting partner and his teammate, William. We got Lord Shank, Baby Richie, and Puff behind them. And finally, the stock field filler starting in 7th. He won the seconds race. He's in this race because of his performance in the stocks race. Can he do the unthinkable and complete the weekend sweep? The gates are down, and look at Clyde glued to the track. Cautions out for the first El Recco of the main event. Po' Boy still looking for that first ever top 5 finish. He's been in at least 3 main events. Still no top 5, and he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. Now it's time for lap number 2. Lord Shank moves up to second. The gates are down. Look at Baby Richie. Tries a pit maneuver on Clyde, but Clyde spins around, finishes that lap, and leads it in reverse, Ricky Bobby style. Lord Shank's first career main event's an early exit. He corrects from second place. Baby Richie's gamble doesn't work out because William passes him and keeps him in third place. Halfway through the segment, Baby Richie looking, though, really fast in that new car. But nobody has anything for Clyde on this short track. He leads that by half the track length. Baby Richie moves up to second place. Both of these cars have glued themselves to the track and have not really gone flying much heading into the final lap here. And we have 2 sets of teammates drafting. We have Uncle Elvis racing on the inside, Puffs racing on the outside. And the gates are down, and Clyde gets a great push from his teammate. Skeeter Davis moves up to third, and Clyde gets his first career modified win in the NASCAR Nitro Series. Here's a look at the podium. William in second place. Congratulations to Uncle Elvis on your 1-2 finish. And also Po' Boy for getting your stock onto the podium against the heavy hitters. What an exciting, action-packed race that was. Once again, congratulations to Clyde and Uncle Elvis Racing. Here is your top 10. Baby Richie, first race in the new car, gets 4th place. Shout out to Puff for your top 5s. Lord Shank for your very first career main event. Congratulations, Mark Russell, very first modified top 10. Now we're looking at the next set of drivers. Charlie Verney still looking for that very first career top 10. Good run for Elton Sawyer, Gray, and Burt Buzzard. Bill Z. Bub, the highest finishing El Recco. And here's all the other drivers that crashed. Lee Petty driving the 42 for Baby Richie because Baby Richie's got a new car and he made the race on speed. Bubba Wallace, the field filler. Who'd have thought we'd still see flea market cars in the mods races? But here's a look at the standings. Clyde, with that win, moves up to a 54-point lead over Misty G. Burt Buzzard in third. Really tight pack between 5th place and 10th. Lord Raymond had a DNF but holds on to it, but the whole pack is catching up with him quick. William and Gray in a tie for 11th, only 37 points back of 5th place. With one race to go before the All-Star break, I'd say everyone from Lord Raymond in 5th to Charlie Verney in 15th, exactly 100 points apart, are on the bubble for that top 10. Because the top 10 drivers in points plus other drivers with the win, right now that's just Heather. We'll get into the All-Star race as we take a look at positions 25 through 36. The rest of these drivers, 37 through 52, I believe all of these are part-timers or field fillers or stocks. Rowdy Bush cemented in last place with the rule change starting last week at Le Mans. And if you want to see your car on my channel, or if you're unhappy with how one of your mail-ins are performing, you can always send a car to HSL Diecast, P.O. Box 7, Wind Gap, Pennsylvania 18091. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the track.